revolution. It's already begun, and it has no interest in waiting on you or any of us to catch up. The integration of technology into every facet of your business and your life is standard operating procedure. The landscape is lawless, unpredictable. Your future, our future, is uncertain. But there's one force in the wilderness that doesn't fear the dark. We've been here, leading the way for more than 40 years, becoming more agile, even as our stability expands. Choose ConnectWise. We'll help run your business with unified PSA, RMM, RPA and AI applications to drive your operational efficiency and reduce tool burden. But what is a platform without hyper-automation, an open ecosystem, common services and a data layer shared across applications? ConnectWise ASIO, the only true MSP platform, will keep you from being led astray in this dark night. By transforming your business through the IT Nation community, you'll leverage the professional and business best practices and take control of your efficiency, your maturity and your revenue. Because it's not just survival, it's growth, it's transformation. Nature has shown us there is strength in numbers. It drives our dedication to developing world-class solutions and services for you to be a light in the darkness. Run, grow and transform with ConnectWise. To kick off our morning keynote, please welcome from ConnectWise USA Chief Product and Technology Officer, David Racerport.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Good morning. Welcome to IT Nation. This is my first IT Nation Australia, so I'm really honored to be here, have an opportunity to present to you all. We have some exciting things to talk through. We have a lot of product innovation that we've been proud of getting out in the market. We've released a few products. We have some announcements to make. So you'll have a good hour of new information, learn about our product, and hear about our strategy and how we're continuing to evolve and how we're continuing to execute against that strategy. So why are we here in APAC, other than the beautiful weather? We're here because the opportunity is tremendous. You saw this slide last night. How many people were at the keynote last night? Well, good. I have Peter's keynote beat. APAC is the second largest market for MSP. Amazing growth, amazing opportunity. This is something that, as you're going to see, ConnectWise is going to continue to invest in this region. We're going to add people. We're going to add products. We're going to add technology. We have our ASIO data center here. This is a very important part of the world for us, and we're all excited to be here to share all of the news with you. As any company, we do a lot of surveys. We surveyed over 3,000 MSPs, and we wanted to understand what are their pain points? What are the challenges that they face? What are the things that kind of keep them up at night? And what are the things that potentially slow down their growth? So obviously, none of you are surprised to find out there's some concerns around capabilities that would help them be more operationally effective. There's always concerns about talent. Can I find the right people? Can I find them at the right price so I can actually grow my business and be profitable? How do I go after new business? What area should I invest in? What products am I going to sell? What do the customers really need these days? As we look at some of these challenges, they somehow magically neatly align around a few categories. One of them is really around a set of things that you all worry about every day, which are part of your cost of goods sold. And as I mentioned, talent is an important part of it. That's a key thing to keep in mind, as you're going to hear lots of things around AI. We talked about it last night. How does AI impact that cost of talent? How does it help you scale out your business over time without linearly continuing to increase your cost of human capital? Next is what are those areas of opportunity for me? What are the new products that I can sell? What are the markets that have not become commoditized where I can add value? I can bring new innovation to market. I can solve new customer problems. And last but not least, what are the things that I leverage to help me establish a better business model? How do I do my pricing and packaging in order to differentiate? Do I acquire my way into business growth? How do I do those things, and how do I do those things effectively so I'm not trying to learn the process for the very first time as an MSP? With those challenges and with those areas, one of the things that we've done over the years, and I'm sure you've heard about it, you've heard about our platform. It's not new. ASIO. That platform was designed to really address the first area of concern and the first area of challenges that every MSP has. And those are really around building things that provide better operational efficiency. What does that really mean? Well, for operational efficiency and cost of goods sold, a lot of that comes down to traditional capabilities and applications that you're familiar with. Things such as the PSA and RMM. RPA and AI capabilities help you control your cost of service. But those by themselves, without a platform behind them, don't necessarily provide more operational efficiency. In some cases, they actually create more complexity, more dashboards, more products, more things that you have to manage, more sources of truth, more places where your customers are scattered across all of these applications. The second area we talked about is, what are the areas of opportunity and growth for me? Certainly, imagine there isn't a single person here who does not believe that security is going to be an opportunity for growth over the next decade. Security products, data protection products are at the core of what keeps every business awake these days. But once again, those products by themselves, without easy integration into a platform, don't necessarily provide incremental value. So ASIO was built specifically to pull these types of solutions together and provide an overarching capability to make the experience for running a business, operating a business, and growing a business better. Now, we created some confusion around ASIO. I wasn't around at the time, so I'll blame somebody else. But we talked about ASIO like it was a product. It's not a product. You don't buy ASIO. ASIO is a platform. It's something that enables, empowers, and integrates. It's a set of services. We break it down, and I'm an engineer. You'll hear engineer talk about microservices, and those don't mean a lot of things to anyone. Well, what was the reason that we keep talking about the architecture? A platform is supposed to take common tasks and make them easier to use. It's meant to take common data elements and make them available across every application. It's intended to make disparate applications feel like a suite. That's what ASIO was, and that's what ASIO is today. And where are we in that journey? I actually met with a partner yesterday who asked the question, well, when is ASIO going to be done? And I probably gave them the answer they didn't want to hear. I said, it's a platform. It's never going to be done. Your needs are never going to stop evolving, and the platform is going to continue to get better. However, ASIO as a platform has reached a point of maturity where it's no longer slideware. It's no longer the thing that one application runs on top of. We now have multiple applications running on top of ASIO, and you're going to see all of those applications today as my colleagues run through their presentations and tell you about everything that we've done over the last several months. First and foremost, if anybody was at the IT Nation Secure event, we talked about PSA powered by ASIO. And once again, we've been talking about this for quite a while, but it's actually here. We talked about a date of releasing our PSA powered by ASIO at general availability of July 15th. We hit our date. PSA powered by ASIO is now available. Now, we intentionally, and learning from our history, made sure that we're going to create a great partner experience and be very specific about which partners we bring onto this new platform to ensure that we have the resources on our end to provide any hand-holding that's necessary. We want to learn from our partners. If there's anything missing, we want to close that gap very quickly and ensure the absolute best experience ever. So we focused on ASIO, on PSA powered by ASIO. First and foremost, we modernized the user interface. We brought all of that into ASIO. Then we started looking at breaking down a lot of the services on the back end that are required. Again, those things that really belong in the platform. Companies, sites, entities, contacts, ticketing service, common ticketing service, and bring all of those things into the platform. Every time you do that with a platform, every time you bring those additional capabilities, the platform gets better. And as the platform gets better, every application that sits on top of it gets better. We also made sure that the platform is extensible. We want to be able to solve new problems with it, not just the same old problems. The extensibility of this platform, in this case, really focuses on the security use cases. It's about creating a common data analytics platform. It's about providing APIs to do integration so you can pull threat data and telemetry data from a number of applications into a common platform, and then be able to build those threat dashboards, those alerting dashboards, and those unified places where a security analyst can look at what is the highest priority, most important thing that they need to go address within a single common interface. You're going to hear John, one of my colleagues, talk about the work that we've done in the security dashboard and in SIM, and those are two examples of capabilities that build on top of this open platform and the extensibility to really provide a better experience in the applications that are built on top of it. Beside PSA powered by ASIO, we also launched and announced our new SIM product. Brand new product. We built this from the ground up. It is not the next version of our old SIM. A lot of new capabilities, really going after threat hunting as a core of the SIM capability in the platform, including new licensing models, new capabilities, and most of all, integration into ASIO. It was built on top of ASIO from day one. Another product that we're launching, I believe later today, we're going to go live with our integrated cybersecurity and endpoint management capability in the Pax8 marketplace. That is a combination of our ConnectWise RMM product and the Microsoft endpoint security product in Pax8. That announcement will go out today, and it'll be available in the marketplace today. Thank you. I do have a bet if you guys show more energy today than last night. I think Peter Kajawa agreed that he's going to do his next presentation dressed as Taylor Swift. So let's hear it. Last but not least, we have our email security product that we did in conjunction with our partners at Proofpoint. Proofpoint, as you know, an industry leader, a Gartner Magic Quadrant leader in email security, and in combination with ConnectWise, we're building integrations, deep integrations with email security and security awareness training to build that capability into the platform. Yesterday, you heard about all the threat vectors that are coming into the organizations and how important it is to protect against those threats. Well, email security accounts for roughly about 93% of all threats that come into an organization. So we're proud to have partnered with the best in the category to ensure we have a great experience around email security integrated into ASIO. We talk about ASIO is here, it's not just slideware anymore. But here's some numbers. We currently have over 7,600 partners on ASIO. It operates at scale, and it operates across a broad swath of geographies for a lot of different use cases. ASIO is now proven to scale and scale out. For cybersecurity, we have over 2,300 cybersecurity partners. We actually have over 4,000. Security Dashboard, the core integration and the single pane of glass that provides that overview of security information, is enabled for over 4,000 partners. Data protection, RMM, all of these applications that are built into ASIO have proven that not only is ASIO ready, not only has it launched, but it's being successfully leveraged by thousands and thousands of partners today.
Where we were when we started versus today, and I think the way the partnership has went and the way ConnectWise has listened to us and put resources on it and worked with us to improve the product, like so.
ConnectWise RMM, there's an incredible amount of benefits to this next-gen RMM tool being fully integrated.
Because we need feedback from within to be able to then provide it to ConnectWise, saying, hey, a lot of our technicians would really like to have this.
And then it starts getting technicians and others thinking about what else could be done to streamline operations or to make better customer experiences.
All right. And that was just what some partners are talking about for RMM alone. Beside that, now let's hear about a real-world scenario. Let's talk about a partner who's leveraged ASIO to reduce real work hours within the organization, look at massively reducing the onboarding time, and significantly accelerating the pace at which the clients are onboarded using the platform today. So please help me welcome to the stage Paul and Brad.
Good morning. Everybody good? Everybody good? You can hear me? All right, so the last 9 months or so, I've been on a mission through the Evolved peer groups and different events that I go to, looking for where are we finding traction with AI, what are partners doing, what are we doing with automation, and here's what we found. People are applying, sprinkling AI automation into their current way of doing things, and they're finding some marginal results, right? There's pockets of like goodness that are happening, but I think we've all sense like the time is pregnant with what Peter talked about last night, right? Peter talked about the curve jump. What we haven't seen is partners that have cracked that code until, I think it was Nick Moran said, you got to talk to Paul. Paul with Mangano. And Paul, you guys have cracked the code. You actually are now taking this automate first approach.
Yeah, I don't know about cracking the code. We've probably just listened to what we've been told for the last 20 years, to be fair. I think for us, this is really about making sure that we take this step. This is the beginning of that agentic world that we're all working towards. This is the first step, and we need to look at things differently. We need to be very intentional about what we're doing here.
Yeah. So to do that, you need to approach people different, right? The skill sets that you need to do this. It's not going to be the same people doing the same things. We need to embrace some new things. What did that look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is a different skill set in our teams that we need to help us get to where we're going now. So we need to be looking at DevOps people to help us build these automations and these processes from beginning to end. And it's not the same technically minded people that'll close a ticket, that'll get us to where we're trying to get to now.
Yeah. And the process piece, right? I talked about people are adding a bit of AI here, putting a little bit of automation there, but you realized you need to strip all that down to the bare metal and not layer it, but build from the foundation up the automation piece first.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to get back to basics. We need to go take a big step back and look at the business process from beginning to end and understand how do we build this through automation and how do we build it, independent of which customer and independent of what technology they might be using. We need these bots and these tools and these workflows to work at scale. So in some of our examples, we will, whether it's onboarding or offboarding, regardless of the customer, our workflows will go and determine whether it's an on-prem environment or an AD environment, and it'll act differently depending on the environment that it finds. But we make sure that we're working right through to the end of that process for a consistent outcome.
Yeah, you should see these workflows he's got. They are a work of art, right? They are not 4 or 5 little things in a box. They are big, complex, and yet elegantly put together things that provide, at the end of the day, a better customer experience, even though you're automating and you're able to pull some of the people side out of it.
Yeah, the main driver for this is customer experience in the end. We want consistency. I imagine many partners in the room have suffered the same things that we have over the years, that a tech will do the bits of a process that they want to do, and they won't do it as well as maybe they should. Using automation and workflow, we get a very consistent outcome. The documentation that's put in each and every ticket, whether it's an onboarding ticket or an offboarding ticket, is perfect each and every time. If something goes wrong or if somebody's asked for a wrong workflow to be run, it's very clearly documented and can be reversed. In an offboarding example, a tech will lock an account and we'll get back and clean that up later. That's not good enough. So in offboarding, we make sure we do all the appropriate pieces, like we remove people out of groups, remove them out of distribution lists, and all the technical things that we need to do, document it each and every time for a great, consistent outcome.
Yeah, so, it almost sounds too good to be true, but I've seen some of these results. So to accomplish that, I think early on you realized we can't just take the current set of tools and integrate them harder, right? We can't just do what we've always done with more muscle. It required a different approach from the tool set standpoint.
Definitely. For us, the ASIO platform, I know it's probably the least sexy part about it, but it's that common data set or the data layer that was described there. So having that common data set across multiple tools that we use now allow us to do a lot more. For example, ConnectWise has always managed configuration items well, for us at least. We're using ephemeral configuration items in ConnectWise as sort of a data placeholder or variables holder in part of our automations. Why would we do that? Because there's 100 different ways to do that. ConnectWise already does a really good job of audit trails and managing that data. So why not already use a system that our guys are comfortable with? So it works well for us.
Yeah, that platform approach made that difference. So, the results that you've seen, and again, we've talked about, you've mentioned how when you first started this, over a course of a couple months, you went from 760 kind of run rate tickets down to, just under about 350, I think, just under that, making amazing progress. But the other thing that you've been able to do is, with all the bots and the workflows that you've built, you've been able to enable kind of the ticket intake process in your frontline piece of that to achieve that 30% adoption. What does that look like?
Yeah, again, goes back to customer service, is why we're doing this. So the reason that we want, and it also changes the kind of people that we have there. So we want great communicators on our front line. We want people to want, no one's calling any of our service departments because they're having a great day. So we want to engage with our customers, and we want the tech to be done simply. So if we have great communicators on the front line, our guys have got about 50-something bots and workflows and automations that are available to them without having any technical access directly. And again, those tasks are done repeatedly and very consistently with great documentation output. So that allows our team to talk to our customer, get the job done quickly and efficiently, well documented, and we move on. That's a great outcome.
Yeah, so the bottom line, you can do this, right? Like that curve jump is possible. Getting better at your current way of doing things is great for a while, but eventually we're all going to be where Paul has kind of got a jump start on everybody. And we're going to make Paul available after the keynote session today back in the ConnectWise booth, along with the other ConnectWise product people, so you can kind of drill into a little bit more. But Paul, it's kind of like you found warp speed a bit, right? And like, can you imagine going back to doing things the way you used to do them?
You just wouldn't. It wouldn't make sense. Like, I mean, the hyper-automation that we've been able to achieve has really been very positive for us. And I'm sure, you know, we'll all get there. It's just, you would never go back.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Paul, thank you for sharing a little bit of your story. Would you guys thank Paul sharing his story? Yeah, like I said, if you want to know a little bit more, come back. He and his team are going to be back there. They'll talk about what it took to get there and how to do it along with the product people. But with that, we're going to move on, and we're going to have Jeff come up and talk about where we're headed with our products.
So you know what the right recipe is for getting a lot of excitement in a keynote? Is let everybody go out and drink last night, turn the lights down, have it rain outside. We'll get some jazz music going in here, and we'll really make sure this is a real party. Real party. Come on, let's get excited. Let's get it up. Woo! Please look to your left, look to your right, wake the people up that are asleep. Make sure you introduce yourself. That's why you're here. You are here to introduce yourself, learn from others. How many of you have never made a mistake in your business? How many of you have had some successes? Come on, you all have. Look around. That's why you're here, to share the things that you've learned with each other. It's going to raise all ships, all the tide. Everything goes up when you start to talk and interact and work with each other. We're happy to come here and talk to you about our innovation, the products, and everything that we're doing. That said, this is why you're here, is to learn from each other. All right? So, can we keep moving along? I do think 35% of you were here last year. Is that right? Please raise your hand if you were here last year for Connect. Look around the room, everybody with their hands raised. They actually heard me come talk and rant and rave for about 20 minutes, and they still came back. So thank you. Peter said that he will buy you all beers, drinks tonight in the Solutions Pavilion. So thank you, Peter, for doing that. Peter's over there in the room somewhere hiding. All right. Well, we just saw what Peter talked about last night, which was curve jumping. How do you go from that remote first to the automate first world? And how do you start to make that progression? What does it take? How do you get there? We had the exact same problems as we looked around at ConnectWise. We said, how do we start to get ahead of where this innovation is going, where these technical changes? How do we keep pace with what is happening inside of your industries? This is a lot about the way your world looks today. Your technicians log in, they see 10, 12, 15 different products. They bounce around between the screens. They try to keep them all synced and mapped and everything together. We knew that we couldn't continue to advance if that's the way that we were doing things. Our curve jumping was to move from a product-first focus into a platform focus. All the things that David just talked about. How do we start to really innovate? How do we scale our teams? How do we keep pace with everything that you're seeing out there in the space? Every day, every week, your teams, your customers are starting to look at AI and adopt these things. How many of your customers are using AI today? Raise your hands. How many of you are using AI today? All right. How many of you, when you started putting AI in, it was a 100% success and you didn't have to change your approach at all? Exactly. This is a process. It takes time. You're at the forefront of this. Congratulations to all of you that raised your hands. You're the ones that are at the starting of that curve and going up. If you're not there yet, jump in. Talk to everybody here and start to learn. But again, this is the world that we're living. All these different products that we're trying to keep connected and synced up together with their data and their companies and their contacts and their authorization. We'll take a look at, say, something like an RMM today. Every one of these products are basically the same thing. You take something like an RMM, we have a UX layer. It's that UI, that interface. That's where your teams go in and look and play. They come and look at something like AZO and say, that's really nice. They look at something like the PSA and they go, yeah, it looks like it's a little dated, a little unintuitive. We need to start to bring that up to the next level. Then you go into the services. Most of these products have the same common services, companies, sites, contacts, in our world, devices, tickets, things like that. And there's also the application-specific services, things like a quote or an agreement or an invoice. These are things that are very unique to each of those different and respective products. Then you move into the AI and the automation world. Automation was around forever. Every single product pretty much has some sort of automation. Some that's behind the scenes, some that they expose. And then if there's not if the tool doesn't have AI, I guarantee you they're making it up, and they have AI because everybody is AI today. It is the best marketing buzzword out there, but it's important. It's important because they are also trying to bring that in and learn how to properly integrate that into their products. And then the data layer, the foundation, the structure. Every great product that scales and is performant has a proper data structure in place. This is what we do here at a product world. But to go forward, to make that curve jump, we started adjusting into a platform. So you can see over here on the side, you start to take all those things that are common, like the architecture, the data layer, those common services, and you put them together. Why? So that you, as an MSP, don't have to start syncing all these products together. You don't have to connect them through APIs. You don't have to map companies and sites. You don't have to try to figure out how to map the different the devices together. Everything starts to become common. It also allows for that advancement of integrations and extensibility that you move. That is ASIO. David mentioned that he's brand new and he's bringing lots of insights in, and some of the guys that have been around for a while who maybe screwed up how we explain this, he was very politely pointing at me. I am one of those guys that kind of didn't explain this well. It's not a product. It is a platform. It's a framework. It's something that allows you to start to scale and grow. We looked at all that, and this is our curve jump. ASIO is that for us, and we think it is that platform that's going to help you advance at your industry and your businesses. All right. So we talked about ASIO. Yes, over 7,600, almost 8,000 partners that are consuming it, thousands of our security tools, over 30-something hundred RMM partners that are there using it. Anybody in the room using RMM today? Please raise your hands. All right, thank you. Anybody, just so I know the room, how many of you are using our PSA as well? All right, good. We'll continue down to that path. So today, these are the products that we have inside of ASIO today. New ones are being added all the time. We've got RMM, we've got vulnerability management. You're going to hear a lot about our new security products as they start to move in today. And also our PSA. I was here about a year ago, and I talked a bit about the advancements we'd made with the PSA. We had about 100 screens, so about 20% of the PSA screens were into ASIO, and that we still had a lot of work to do to try to get everything in. That is what we announced on July 15th in Orlando at our Secure event, that we now have all the screens in there. We're making that move, and we're really excited about where it's going to go, and I want to kind of show you some of that today. But as I do, one of the biggest things that I hear from partners today is, all right, Jeff, you're moving the PSA in. What does that mean? What functionality am I going to lose? How is this going to work? How do I change my, my reporting? What about all my integrations? What about my teams that are reading and writing to the database? How is all that going to work in the go forward? And I want to kind of explain how we're approaching this today, right? We just looked at this. We talked about what a product is, right? Data layer, automation layers, back-end services, the nice UI in the front of it, all right? We looked at the PSA. It's just like all those other products. It has all those same pieces. It just has a lot of services, spanning everything from service delivery to agreements and invoicing and down into the reporting and insights that you have to run your businesses. We then said, all right, let's take that and let's start to bring those screens into ASIO. All right? A couple of you looked at me last night as we were sitting around having a beer on the floor, and we said, all right, Jeff, so you made it look pretty, but functionally, what have you changed for us? How are you making this better? Where's it really at? You came down here last year, you said that PSA was starting to come in there. When's it really going to be done? When's it going to be available that we can take advantage? Well, the path forward of this, we're going to talk about each step, but the first step was to get the screens in. The second step is to start to overhaul a lot of the services, and then the next step is to start to help you with some of that migration. And I'm going to explain exactly how we do it in a second, but I wanted you to see what is there today. So as we pop into the PSA, you can see that our teams have brought in more than 500 pages now. Pretty much every user page, module, and everything that your teams log in and use is there. You're seeing us kind of log into BrightGauge here, which is also coming in along with Smileback and documentation. They're going in and popping around. They're going to ticketing. They can start to then create custom views so they can see what is unassigned tickets or scheduled today. Jump in, start to look around, all right? So we're bringing in all the reporting and insights. We're bringing in the ticketing. You can start to then go in and use our new Sidekick tool so that from an AI perspective, we see a problem here. Let's go figure out what that answer is. While Sidekick's figuring it out, let's go look at all the other widgets and modules that are on that screen. We can go see things around the contact. We can see other time entries. We can see information about the devices. All these are widgets. And to go forward, all these widgets can now be moved around on the screens. You can start to customize them and make changes to them. The same widget can move across screens, kind of like what you're seeing here. All right? So while the team has done a lot of work around ticketing and service delivery, they continue to expand and work on all the different modules. They're looking at time entries. They're looking at agreements, invoicing, project management. You're going to see Parker here, who's running this video for me. He's going to go in and start to update some of the timesheet searches behind us. So how do you go in and see what these individuals on your team are doing? These are all in the PSA today, okay? How many of you in the room already have access to the PSA and ASIO? Please raise your hands. All right. How many of you could move your teams over today? The hands are lower. All right, very few. The screens are there. Your teams can jump back and forth. That was the beauty of us setting up the way it works, is that they can log in, see the progress that we're making as these new screens go live, and then go back and continue to work inside of the interface they're in today. All right? But we need to continue to advance it from there. We need to bring it forward so that we can start to centralize all your services, bring all the data together, give you that real value that we've talked about from ASIO since we started getting going. All right. I'm going to advance this forward. So other things that we're bringing in. We've started bringing in our new calendar. We've brought in all the different pages, the dispatch portal. We're starting to bring in the today pages, the project managements, the child agreements. Almost everything that your teams need are there. Now, the biggest feedback that I've been getting from partners that are starting to test it is, Jeff, we need the custom fields. We need our custom views and layouts. Then we also need to start to centralize how we do a lot of the authorization. So what are we doing next? What's happening with the PSA over the next 2 or 3 months is just that. We are going and modifying all the different screens to make sure that that world that you just saw of turning those widgets on and off, adding custom fields to it, changing up the layout is all real. That your custom fields that you have in the PSA can be brought into ASIO and you can create them there. That you can start to create those custom views and layouts. So you can set up where you want all those widgets on the screen. You can save that layout. You can then give that to your users. If you want to turn on off different fields or different columns in the grid, you can start to save those and apply those out to your level 1 techs, your sales team members, your finance team members, and you can save that all out. The other big thing that we have to do is to look at the way you do authorization in the PSA today. We have standard authorization. And we also have, for all of our PSA partners out there, departments and locations, right? If you are a PSA user and you're in there every day, please raise your hand if you think that department and locations and the way we do permissions in there is very logical and very easy to use. I think one of my engineers over here just yelled. No, it's got its cumbersome, it's got so much power of what you can do there, but you're jumping between these different areas, which is pretty complicated. What our teams are going to do is break all those things down into actual preferences and permissions, and then start to align that up with authorization so that you have the corporate structure, yep. You also then have companies and site hierarchies, and then you can also get down to content level restrictions and widget level and custom field level restrictions in the go forward. That's what's going to happen over the next 4 or 5 months, and that's what David and the rest of the team are holding me accountable for, and that you can hold me accountable for as well, all right? Now, I talked a lot about RMM at the very beginning, like how asking a lot of you who was using that tool. If you haven't looked at the RMM in the last 6 to 9 months, you haven't seen this product, all right? Over 100 engineers have been taking your feedback every single week, month, and making advancements into it. Please go out to the Solution Pavilion and take a look. We have continued to advance the way the RMM works. More than 1,200 out-of-the-box custom monitors that we can constantly update, 200 or 300 scripts that we also provide out of the box that we continue to monitor and update. Our expert services team, whether you use them or not, also review every single security patch to see if it works. Jason Short will sit out there in the Solution Pavilion and talk to you about the fact that, did anybody get hit with that DHCP issue not too long ago? Don't raise your hands. But if you did, you're kind of sitting there nodding your head. Our team found that. report it to Microsoft, block that from being available to go out. And that's the kind of work that you get from us from just being on top of the platform, okay? But on top of that, we also try to bring a lot of new innovation in. We, about 4, 5, 6 months ago, maybe it was around November, we launched about 300 or 400 third-party patching titles. I think we had about 12 at the beginning of that, so going from 12 to 300 or 400 was pretty exciting for us. The group came back and said, that's great, Jeff, but we have thousands of applications out there. How are you going to start to support that? We've now launched, or we will be launching over the course of August and September, over 7,000 third-party patching titles inside of the system. You can see behind me up here, you have the ability to go in and approve those. And then you can also set up patching policies of how you want those to deploy out. Do you want them to go out to workstations, desktops? Do you want them to go out certain OSs? What time of day? All of that control through those, for those 7,000 third-party patching titles. Come on, 7,000? That's a lot. Come on, gotta get you guys woken up. You've got sessions all day long. We're gonna have to go get Celsiuses for everybody to make sure you're ready to go. All right, beyond just the third-party patching titles, what we've also done, a lot of the feedback we got was around content restrictions. How many of you have your customers that actually log into your RMM tenant and do some of the work? Client site manager, Streamline IT, you got some of those? Yeah, I see some heads shaking, a few hands going up, great. How many of you have scripts or other objects inside of your system that are named for that customer? You don't have to admit it, but I know you do it because we actually see some of this data. So you've got, Acme script or things like that inside of your system, and you don't want them to be able to see those. You want to be able to put content level, detailed restrictions on that, and that's what you were seeing up behind me there, is that we now have the ability to go into things like scripts and in the future all the different content and say, this can only be visible for this role, right? So you can start to really control that granularity. All right, from there, let me go back before I jump off. Last quick things here. We do have our new device service that's coming out that's going to give you access to all the different views, all those custom fields, all the 200 plus data points we have for every device in the grid, and that you can then start to save views for that. We have our new alert previews coming out the door. We have the ability for you to start sharing objects with each other as MSPs, either across your groups of MSPs that you're associated with, your peer groups, or the community as a whole, so you don't have to build everything up from scratch. All right? Now, you just saw it here. I know they're here somewhere. Jason, Short, Henry, please stand up. Henry's back there in the back. Wave around, Henry. Jason. Dean, are you in here as well? Dean's hiding. All right. These are the guys. Please go out and see them on the floor. Ask them questions. Probe. Talk to them about the things that you need. They've got the session behind me that we want to make sure that you're aware of as well. So let's kind of go do that. You just saw the conversation about how RPA and how automation can play a role in your business. We want to make sure that you take advantage of that. We have our RPA product out there. We've currently released, or in the process of releasing, new debug capability, new looping capability, variables and times capabilities, all inside of the new RPA. So now we have our RPA, we have our PSA, we have our RMM all inside of ASIO, and now the next phase of this is to start to bring our security products in. And to do that, let me bring up to the stage my good friend, John Helms. John, please join us on stage.
Glad you brought your friends, they can watch it go down. Watch it go down. I got mine too.
All right, since Jeff took all my time up, let's see if we can get through this pretty quickly. To really build off of what everyone's been talking about so far today, I'm going to show you a couple of things that we've launched over the past year. More importantly, coming very soon will be what we launched last month. So I'm going to walk through real quick with the security dashboard and talk about a little bit about how we're bringing in the ecosystem into ASIO with the security dashboard. So really, we're going to start with endpoint security. So your EDRs, your AV, whatever endpoint protection you use, we're bringing that into a central location inside the security dashboard. And to keep that flow going, we're also bringing email security in. Have brought, sorry. It's been out a year. I guess I'm not bringing anymore. So we've brought Proofpoint email security in. Microsoft's email security will be in this month. Running out of time, but it'll be in this month. And then this is really bringing it all together. We have the awareness training with products like Infema and Proofpoint, where we're now tying this data together, and then we can take advantage of some of these RPAs and workflows and start building that out as we progress through here. Now, the thing I really wanted to talk about today, which is the new ConnectWise SIM. As David said, it's not a new version. It is net new. So our new SIM is available today. Not only is it available today, just like with everything else within the ASIO platform, it is available in AU, so in region data, which was not available in the classic SIM. So now you have all of your SIM data and threat intel coming in into the ASIO platform. And with a really easy setup, I'm going to walk through this pretty fast, but you get to tie it down to the company level, and you get to break down the packages. I'll kind of show the packages here at the end. But then you can go, whether it's the Essentials package, Pro, managed or unmanaged. You can define your retention policies in here, and you do it at the company level. And then once you do that, now you're ready to start receiving threat data. And so you're going to pull it in here. We start to dive in a little bit and look at the actual alerts that have come in. So when the alerts come in, they're going to create a case. And these cases, by default, will just store the data all together. And then you'll be able to get it, and it's all grouped on the back end so that it's all displayed together. But what this does is it allows you to go dig into those details and then go, you know what, that's pretty important. Let me go create a ticket. And it goes directly into ASIO ticketing. So it'll create that ticket, and then you can actually go in, and you'll see in the ticket column where that ticket is now in ASIO ticketing, or if you're still on classic PSA, it's going to sync over to PSA as well. So it's all the same ticketing. And then I'm going to dig in a little bit. So whether I want to do it from this kind of, whoop, I clicked too fast. All right, so if I'm going in and I want to make an update to the ticket or a comment, I can do that from this threat screen or in the ticket. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to add a comment. Jeff doing Jeff things like taking all my time on the stage. Security problem. So, all right. So coming back to that, and now I'm looking at everything else, and we have all these, all the alerts and everything, and now you see that even though I put that comment in, it's now showing in the comment on the case. So a case is directly related to a ticket. And then that will bring everything together back into your same threat screen. So we've got several enhancements coming to this over time, really over the next probably 9 to 12 months. We'll be adding to this every month. And what we'll be bringing to it is more ingestion integrations, bringing more of your security data in, and then allowing you to get to this level, which is whether you need SIM Essentials or SIM Pro. So Essentials is face value one integration. It's Microsoft 365, but it's got the Elastic integration and a Windows integration they bring in that are ingesting data. So with the Essentials, you're still getting ransomware and malware protection. You're getting some endpoint security, but you're also ingesting those Microsoft 365 logs. And that comes with 30 days retention by default. And then you go over to Pro, and then you start building out and adding whatever integrations you want that we have out. And then you also get the ransomware and malware protection, but you also get things like host isolation. And then you're getting the SOAR on the back end because you're being able to build out the RPAs and workflows to continue with your security threat hunting, all within ASIO. All right, this is the one where I self-promote. Just kidding, we're gonna talk about Leon. So you wanna come learn more about the overall security roadmap from ConnectWise, come and see us at 10:30. You wanna learn more about the SIM, we're gonna go into the deep dive. Looks like David's running me off. Come see me and Leon at 3:15, and we will do live demos of the SIM product as well.
That was technical presentation speed dating. It's amazing. Thank you, John. We're very sorry we did that to you. It's my fault. I dragged it on. The good news is, because I dragged it on, I don't get to review the roadmaps with you guys. No, I'm just kidding. So we've changed the way we do roadmaps and the way we share information for all of our products. And you'll notice that we don't have like 40 different roadmaps for 40 different products. These are our 8 product areas that we build roadmaps for. We'll have them for 6 months worth of information because these are the things we know we're going to do. We're not going to make promises about things that are like 3 years off in the distance and then come back and apologize for them for the next 5 years when we miss them. These are real. These are things we're going to do. These roadmaps are going to be published on university. So we're not hiding them. They're not secrets. Everyone can have access to them. And the reason that that's important is because we're going to hold ourselves accountable to these dates and these deliveries and these timelines. So when we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. I'm not going to go through the highlights. You can take pictures. Go ahead, pictures. Wow, nobody wants a picture. That's amazing. Usually when I put out roadmaps, I see 500 phones pop up. Awesome. In summary, you heard a lot about ASIO. You heard a lot about our different products. We built this in order to solve the problems that you're all facing. We talked about the results of those surveys and what those problems bring up. Growing your business, scaling it out, looking for talent, making things easier, onboarding your customers, finding new areas of growth for you guys. That's why we built it. We're proud of it. It's going to get better. It's going to get better month after month after month. You heard Jeff talk about PSA. Jeff's going to have a release every single month, and he's going to keep adding capabilities. And the important thing about those releases every single month, it's not just about building new capabilities, but it's being really responsive to the feedback that we get from you guys. That's why he was asking for a show of hands of how many people are currently using it and how many want to go try it side by side. That feedback is critical to us. We need to make sure that we react to it very quickly in real time and make the experience as great as it can possibly be. That's why we've changed the mode of operation. That's why we have monthly releases to address those types of things. So, ConnectWise Partner Program, it's proven. Hopefully nobody needs to sell it. Members of the partner program grow at 4 times faster rate. They're more profitable. They have higher recurring revenue. Join that partner program. It's easy. There's a lot of value in it. Please, go join. For those of you who are here who are probably going to beat me and Jeff up about issues that we have for product, Partner Success Team is right out here in the grand foyer. Please go find them. They're here specifically because they want to understand whether you're running into issues, whether it's onboarding or anything else. Go find them. And if you don't find them, please find us. We're here to help. We're here to learn from you. We're here to correct any issues that you have. Innovation webinars. For those that can't make the sessions or didn't get into the sessions or don't have time or have conflicts, we have innovation webinars. Please go ahead, sign up. You can scan the QR code there. Look at those seminars and learn from them. And last but not least, I mentioned that we're committed to this region. It's not just lip service. It's important to note that Chris Benson is now on our corporate advisory council. Is Chris here? No, he's so busy advising. He's one of you guys. He's a new member of the corporate advisory council. We're proud to have him. It's a voice from the region within the advisory council that'll give us feedback and make sure that they hold us accountable to the commitment that we've made to this region to make sure we help you guys grow. Thank you for the time. Sorry about the last 5 minutes being kind of rushed. We needed to get through the last few minutes. Find us afterward if you have questions, comments, concerns, want to give us feedback. If we're doing something well, tell us. If we're doing something wrong, tell us even more. We want to learn from it. We want to get better. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your time here.